Pembroke Pines? Oh my goodness. But the person that came the furthest, and I got to give a shout out to her, is Luca over here from Lake Placid. That's dedication. That's dedication. All right, so a little bit about the presenter. Well, who I hear is awesome. Okay, I just want to make sure you know, just kind of setting the stage for that. But a little bit about myself. I am a licensed real estate broker. I am the broker of 3 entities. This one here, which is Extreme Realty Team. We also have a branch in Brickell, which is part of Extreme International Realty Group. And our latest opening is in Lake Placid, Florida, which if you haven't discovered Lake Placid, you need to go out there. It is gorgeous, it's beautiful. It's only 2 hours north of here. And that's Extreme Realty Team, Highlands County. So 5 locations now, and God willing, more. Now, we have several guests here today. I know I have a lot of our agents here, but how many of you are non-Extreme agents right here? Awesome, thank you. Let's give them a hand for coming out. Please. Están en su casa. You're here among friends. Now, if you're at all worried that we did this class as a way of trying to attract you to join Extreme, let me put your mind at ease. Yes, that's exactly what I did. Okay? But listen, the truth will set you free. Don't you feel relaxed now? But here's how I look at things. I believe that there's a fair exchange. Okay? The 2 most important assets that a real estate professional has is their experience and their time. And you can either do 2 things with your time. You can spend it or you can invest it. Our goal is that you find the next 2.5 hours a worthy investment. And if along the way you're impressed with what you see as far as our culture, which is a culture of training and support, and you'd like to find out more, we'd love to talk to you. But our goal today is to help you get on with this short sale area. I'm also a licensed instructor. Instructing is my passion. I've taught short sales now since 08 and 09. I also am the military residential specialist instructor. And as of yesterday, we made a major announcement that we're also going to be converting the famous 7-week Floyd Wickman master selling course into Spanish and Portuguese as well. So for the first time ever, these classes will be available in 2 other languages, and we're taking them globally. So obviously, we take training seriously. How many of you are brand new? I mean, you're so new, the ink is still wet on your license. Okay, congratulations. Yeah, you haven't made any mistakes yet. Okay, and I salute you for signing up for training because it's so critical to your success. I can't stress that enough. Now, I believe I've earned the right to call myself a master short sale instructor. You have to understand, when short sales were hot and heavy in 08 and 09 and going forward, as soon as somebody closed their first deal, they started teaching a class. You know, they came out of the woodwork. And so there was a lot of conflicting messages out there. And you would go to one class and you hear one thing, and then you go the next day and it's a completely different message. I know it's confusing. But I believe I've earned the right to call myself a master instructor in the area of short sales because I have personally taught over 8,000 agents how to do them. You think that might be enough? Maybe another 1,000 maybe. In fact, I wanted to the point I wanted to earn another one. I wanted to be called Grand Master. You know, but they wouldn't let me. Okay? So short sales is something that I have a tremendous passion for. Now, how many of you were licensed during the great disaster that began in 08 and 09? So how many of you were licensed? It was fun, wasn't it? It was fun. So here's the thing. Most of the hands did not go up. So that means that there is a whole new generation of agents out there that have no clue what's coming. And I'm going to go on record on saying, and this is why I'm going back to teaching these classes, it is going to get bad. Now, people don't want to hear that, and I tell you what, go back in time. In 06, they were saying there was a bubble. People didn't want to hear that. In 07, they didn't want to hear that. In 08, up until it crashed, they didn't want to hear it either. So you know what? Maybe some of you feel the same way. Bury your head in the sand, believe that there's nothing to worry about, and go on with your business. I look at it this way. Who cares if it doesn't get worse? How about if it just stays the same? If it stays the same, short sales are still an amazing niche for you to engage in. Back in the day, and we may see it again, if you did not do short sales, you did not survive. We had hundreds, thousands of agents exit the business because they couldn't survive. They didn't know what they were doing. So short sale classes were the in thing, and 150, 200 people at classes paying $400, $500 was a natural thing. Trust me, you will see this happen again. So I salute you guys for being here, because you can be on the front lines and you can take a lead over everyone else. But I'm going to teach you my way of doing the business. Now, I have to be careful, because the reality is there's only so much I can accomplish in 2.5 hours. So we have to have realistic goals. So my goals today is, first, to motivate you to work short sales. You may not be there yet. You may be the kind of person that's kind of skeptical. You know, the ones that have their arms crossed. You ever seen people that have their arms crossed? No, you're just cold. You see how people go, no, not me, that wasn't me, you know? And I go, because maybe you don't know enough about short sales to even decide if it's something you want to do or not. Well, here's the good news right now, okay? You have the luxury right now of deciding to not do it, because it is a niche. You know, when it comes to niches, you don't have to work it. You can either choose to engage or not. If it becomes the market again, like it did back in the day, you don't have an option. But for right now, explore it. Let's talk about the good, bad, and ugly, and then you decide at the end if it's something that you want to do. Next, we're going to teach you the basics. The goal by the end of today is you're going to know what a short sale is and what it's not. You should, by the end of today's session, be able to converse with someone that's losing their home and give them at least 3 good reasons why they should attempt a short sale. I like to do things in 3s. So if I could just give you 3 strong reasons why they ought to sit down with you and explore other options, I've done my job. Next, last, not least, to help distressed homeowners. What I have found is that the people that truly excelled in the arena of short sales had a heart to serve. They truly had a heart to serve, because you are going to go into some very difficult scenarios. Short sales are not easy. How many of you have ever heard that short sales are tough? Okay, how many of you have said short sales, they should call them long sales? Right? So here's the deal. I believe most of these are myths, but myths always have some grounding in reality. You ever hear of a short sale taking as long as a year to close?
Yes.
Yeah. You ever heard of a short sale taking 2 years to close?
Yes.
Yeah, ask Gabi.
2 years.
2 years. Anybody else would have given up. I told her to give up. She wouldn't give up. She made a promise to that family that she was going to get them out of that mess. Most people would have just walked away. That's what I mean by having a heart to serve. Now, have you ever heard that short sales sometimes don't go through? You ever heard that?
Yes.
Sometimes a short sale will fall apart. You ever heard that? Let me ask you, do regular deals ever fall apart?
Yes.
Do regular deals sometimes not close?
Yes.
Okay, so what's the big deal? It's the same thing. You know, you can close a short sale in 60 days. You can close a short sale in 30 days. You can close a short sale in a year. You know what they all have in common? They either have a really good agent or a really bad agent involved. Okay? I encourage you to take notes as we go along, because I'm going to share some dialogue with you. One of my favorite sayings is, just because you can doesn't mean you should. All of you, being licensed real estate agents, are legally allowed to do short sales. It doesn't mean you should. And that's the problem from the very beginning and to today. Agents will take listings on short sales, have no clue what they're doing. And you know what? A lot of them work with buyers in a short sale, and they're clueless on that as well. So today we're going to cover the basics, and then what I've decided to do is maybe go further in doing some additional trainings in the future. But in all fairness to my team, they've asked me, Tony, it's kind of generous of you to open this up to everybody, but you got to keep some training just among us only. And I go, yeah, you're right, we may have to do that. So let's get through this class first, and then I want to hear from you guys if there's a commitment from you to go forward and start helping people. So what is a short sale? You got to start at the very beginning, right? A A short sale is a situation where, I'll tell you what, let me ask you a question. What one thing you absolutely must have in order to even consider a short sale? What kind of situation must that homeowner be in? Hardship, right? No! Underwater. See, let's start with the basics, right? Okay. I've seen people in a hardship scenario that weren't underwater. So that's one of the first things you do. Get to find out, how much do you owe? How many loans do you have? Okay? Oh, you owe this much? Well, you know what? Here's the good news. Prices have gone up. You still need to sell because you're still hurting. But you know what? It's a regular sale. Let's put it on the market. Let's get done with it, right? So the first thing you ascertain is, are they truly underwater? Then we go into, as we'll discuss later, whether they might be a candidate or eligible for a short sale. You with me?
Yeah.
Now, we go to the bank and we ask them to lose money. That's fun. How many of you ever loaned somebody money? How many of you loaned money to somebody and never got it back? Okay, how'd you feel? Was it a good day? Okay, so you are owed $1,000 by a friend, and the friend says, you know what, I can't afford to pay it. Will you take $100 instead? You're not thrilled with that conversation, but you may opt to, given the circumstances of your buddy, say, you know what, I'd rather have 100, right? 10% of something than 100% of nothing. Now, imagine a bank. Now, everybody hated the banks back in the day. They were evil. Really? You know, Florida has the most concealed weapons permits of any state I know out there, maybe second only to Texas. Everybody's packing. I'm afraid to say the wrong thing in this room because some of you may be packing. Okay? Alex here is one of my good friends and one of the best lenders in the business. Say hi, Alex.
Hi,
Alex, at all the closings you've done, have any of the agents ever pulled a gun out and held it to the borrower and say, sign? No.
Pretty close. But...
Close. Chicago, maybe? Yeah, okay. So, oh, yeah, Chicago won. Hey, okay, so what happens is, guys, everybody went in with their eyes pretty much open. Yes, there was some predatory lending. We know all that. But people knew what they were doing. Okay? They were making 10, 15 bucks an hour, and when they put down 200,000 on their income, they signed and went right along with it. So let's not make the banks the bad people, because at the end, it's somebody else's money that they're representing anyway. Trust fund, hedge fund, you don't know. So at the end, imagine going to a bank that's owed $500,000, and you say, guess what? Will you take 200 instead? That's not a fun conversation, folks. But it is done and can be done if you make a viable financial argument. Write that down. Viable financial argument. The essence of a short sale is you go to an entity or entities, because they could have more than one bank, and they could have two banks and an association, and you say, I am going to make a viable financial argument as to why you should take less money now rather than lose even more later. If you can make that argument, you're going to get that short sale approved. You just can't go in and say, hey, what up? Would ya, could ya? No. Give me some reasons why we should consider this. And this is all part of the process. If they agree to do it, they will allow the sale to happen, the title to transfer, and the person can get on with their lives. Write this down. Short sales, in my humble opinion, is 80-85% real estate 101. 80-85% real estate 101. That should be very good news for those of you that have been in the business a while. Those of you that are brand new, how many of you are brand new? Well, you don't know real estate 101 yet, so you got a lot of learning to do. That's the reality. But the good news is, if you know real estate, we use the same contract. We use the as-is contract. There's no as-is short sale contract. There's an extra addendum. There might be some internal forms that your company has you use for yours and the company's protection, but it's real estate 101. But that 15-20% difference can be huge if you have no clue what you're doing. And that's why it's critical. Thank you. Now I got 2 waters and 2 coffee.
I'm taking care of you.
Thank you. Man, there's no way I'm falling asleep during this class. Okay. Okay, this didn't like when I dropped it. Hold on. Okay. Give me a second. I broke my clicker. Okay. Now, why do short sales? Well, let me introduce you to the listings tree. Okay? If you've been in this business any length of time at all, people will tell you that to make money in this business, you have to be a listings agent. You've ever heard that before? Yes. Okay, so let me introduce you to the listings tree. All right? What do you think the sweetest fruit is? The sweetest fruit is at the very top. Why? At the very top are the regular sales. These are regular, non-distressed sales, just your traditional sales. So obviously, you have some climbing to do to get up here. Now, I want you to look at this listing tree, and I want you to look at it like it's a listing presentation, okay? Because you're gonna go and be interviewed. So here you are, brand new, just getting started in the business. And then what happens is you're standing here all alone out here in the corner, right? Staring up at that sweet listing at the top. You're going into a listing presentation. You're up against 3, 4 other agents, okay? You've never done this before. You don't know what the quickest way to climb up, where the best branches are to get there. Next agent's been doing this a little bit longer than you. They know all the tricks. They can climb up a little faster. The third agent has a really long ladder. And then the top producing agent of the 4 has a cherry picker. And they come to the presentation and do Does that kind of sound right? That's the world of trying to get listings out there. It's tough. I know it's tough. And that's why so many new agents walk away from listings. Most new agents feel, I'm not ready, I'm not qualified, I don't bring enough value. Let me go work with buyers. And we all know how fun that can be, right? So they go work with buyers. Now, what if we turn this thing around completely and, can you guys see the screen okay? Yes. Okay. There's fruit hanging right here, right by the bottom. You see that low-hanging fruit? That's called the short sale. I go after it. I go after it because all you have to do is go and get it. And you think, well, if it's that easy, then there should be a line of people to go out there and get it. No, there isn't. Why? For all the reasons I mentioned before. How many of you, when you recently went through real estate school, they spent an entire day talking about short sales? Did they spend an hour on short sales?
No.
Did they spend 10 minutes on short sales? No. Are there any short sale questions on the exam? No. So why spend time on it? So when the confused mind says no, for all those reasons, people don't engage it. Now, imagine this. Imagine you not having to do interviews anymore. Because that's what a listing presentation is. A listing presentation is you are interviewing for the position. How many of you would like to be the interviewer instead? Okay, when you embrace short sales, they don't interview you, you interview them. How many of you see that as being a better position to be in? Okay, so that is the power of the short sale. Did that illustration help you at all in kind of seeing it? So why not have an opportunity to learn an area where most agents are clueless in, when you can be among a very select group that actually feels confident to go in there and handle that opportunity? Because that's really what it is, an incredible opportunity. How many of you have heard this before? The short sales are dead. Okay, we hear it all the time. So let me describe it this way. In 08 and 09, the market was so bad that it's the same as, if anybody ever have small kids? Did they ever have a high fever? 103, 104? Scary, right? Dangerous, right? That's the market we had in 08, 09, 10. Now let's say that fever goes down and it's only 100.5 right now. Is it better? Yes. Are they okay? No. So we don't have the 103 or 4 fever that we did before. The situation has improved, but what we still have is a sick market. And I'll prove it to you because numbers don't lie. See, we're all entitled, write this down, use this whenever you have someone that is having a hard time accepting the fact that their house isn't worth what they think it's worth, or any of these things. You go to them and say, you know what? We're all entitled to our own opinion, but not our own what? Facts. You can't dispute the facts. And the facts are that we kind of have like a tale of two cities right now. Short sales, foreclosures, they're not sexy. They're not sexy. So you don't have a scenario where you have people discussing it on a daily basis like it was happening before. What's sexy is all the buildings going up in Sunny Isles, in Brickell, and all. That's sexy. And if you were around back in the day, all the things that are happening right now, announcing all of these new groundbreakings and everything, all of those things happened just before the world came to an end. All the dancing girls and the champagne and all that, it was all out there just before it all came to a halt. And because we're human beings and we have no concept of learning from the past, and we will repeat our same mistakes, it's been 8 years since that happened, which is an eternity in this business. So when you focus on that, yes, the world is great and wonderful, good luck. But the reality is that people are still suffering, not to the extent as before, but what about these numbers? We're number 5 in the nation in foreclosures. Now, I could have made these up, and if I had made these up, we would have been number 1. If I'm gonna lie, I might as well lie really well. But you can go to Realty Track and look at these numbers. We're number 5 in the nation. Back in the day, we were always number 1 until California started heating up, and then we were 1 and 2. Arizona was awful, Nevada was awful, you know? And so right now we're number 5. 1 in every 945 housing units is in the foreclosure process. Next, in the past 12 months, ending August, we had 55,000 foreclosures that took place. 55,000, number 1 in the nation. So imagine this, of those 55,000, most knew that they had the ability to go do a short sale and maybe preserve their credit and their dignity and parts of their future, but instead elected to lose their home in a foreclosure. No! I gotta believe a certain percentage of those people never even knew that a short sale was available. A certain percentage of those people hired the wrong agent. They hired the wrong agent, made a mess of the entire process, and it was done. So at the end, it's a shame, because how many of these folks could have been rescued? And as I'll explain later, the impact on someone's present and future in a foreclosure is devastating. It can be devastating. So local numbers, well, let me go on a second. Foreclosure inventory, we're about 5th, 6th, 7th in the country at 1.6 of all mortgage properties. Serious delinquency rate, 4.2%. Serious delinquency means that they're over 90 days late. Okay, now you have to understand something. Once somebody gets 90 days or more late, it's over. It's over. The vast, overwhelming majority of these folks will end up in foreclosure. You can be 1 month back, 2, and still have a chance to recover. 3 or more, likelihood is you're going right into the foreclosure process. Any questions on these numbers here? Are these numbers a little higher than some of you thought that they would be?
Yeah.
Okay, so how many of you see opportunity here? Anybody? Okay. All right, let's go down more to a local level. Miami-Dade and Broward. In Miami, Miami-Dade 1 in every 872. You got it? Was that you? Oh, let's give it up for Patrick. Yeah, baby. Patrick, I love you, man. Maybe not. Yes, I love you, man. My love is conditional. Okay. So Dade is hurting a little bit more than Broward is. How many Dade County folks are here? Okay. The questions get tougher as I get along. Is anybody from Dade County? Because I know there's a couple of you from Dade County that raise your hand. Okay, thank you. All right. So what happens is they're a little bit worse off. 872 versus 1 in every 1,087. Back in the day, that was in the 300s. That's when it was really, really bad. Okay? So again, those are current numbers, and there's a lot of information pointing to the fact that it could get worse again. All right? Any questions on that? Okay. Gabby, were we still doing the Facebook Live?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you, Facebook. We're going to sign off for now. Okay. Folks, do not be afraid to ask questions.